judgment on Phala Phala was not a judgment on the president. What kind of stupidity is that? Or or something. But it's about the president. Because the judgment says, take the president to the impeachment process. That's what the judgment says. We are simplifying it for these airheads. It says, take the president to the impeachment. How can it say that must be referred back to the impeachment? Who's going to go to the impeachment? There must be a person who goes to the impeachment. The matter, where they say the matter must be referred to impeachment, remove that one because you are a dumb cop. Remove it and write President Ramaphosa to be referred to the impeachment. Make it easy for yourself to understand what this thing means. Matter means Ramaphosa. There's no matter that is going to go to impeachment. It's Ramaphosa. Impeachment is worse because if we find you guilty, we take away the status of former president. We take away all the benefits, pension, everything. Remember, when you are a president, you are paid forever, for life. We take the blue lights, all of those cars. They also give you a PA. They also pay for office space. All of those things are gone. So you don't impeach only a sitting president. Even a former president can be impeached. So when I say Ramaphosa must resign, it doesn't mean he can't be subjected to impeachment even when he resigns. He's still going to go to the impeachment. You impeach former president, sitting president. So, what is impeachment? I hear they want to fight and what. There's no delay we are going to accept. We are going to deal with this matter as an agent matter. In the words of the chief who gave the judgment, this matter is of national importance. Therefore, it cannot be subjected to a normal roll. We need to speed it up. It has taken long. So if he thinks it's going to delay us by taking us to court and we follow normal court processes, no, we are going to apply for case management. Or this one must be speeded up. It is a matter of national importance. And then he's going to come to the committee, the man himself. He can't send anyone. It's not a place where he can say, my deputy will come. Yeah, nah, he has to come there. Now, if he wants to put up a fight, I can tell you now, they think they can put up a fight because they are going to win. No one has got 2/3 majority. Who cares about 2/3 majority? We care about impeachment process because that's where you are going to embarrass yourself. The voting comes later. We are not interested about those things of voting. We are interested. Yes, Cyril, sit down. Take an oath. What's your name? Where did you go to school? We can ask you anything. When we finish with Cyril, we call all those farm workers who worked at that farm, all of the present and the previous ones. And Wabati, the workers. They know, yes, we hear you stole money and you are used to stealing money in that particular farm. It's not me. The person who steals the money there was John. Okay, when did he steal it? In 2000. He has left this one we are talking about. He's giving us something we are not asking about. And then what happened to John? Now John was beaten and then he died. They even buried him at the farm. We are going to get more. Once you go to that process, we are going to hear stories. Workers. So the first problem with workers is going to be the language. Which language do you want to speak? English. Because the ANC is very good with spinning. Their propaganda is at another level. You must not undermine them. And it doesn't start now. It started long time ago. ANC survived through propaganda. They change your mentality to think things are the way they are, and therefore they are better things, because the ANC said so. So because you are young, I'm going to give you a challenge. When you go home, you must go and look at that, especially those who do law. They say when Solomon Mahlangu was about to be hanged in court, his last words was, "Tell my people I love them. Tell my mother that I love her. My blood will nourish a tree that will bear the fruits of freedom." He never said that. He never said that. He never said that. But you're sitting here, you say you're intellectuals. You are hearing it for the first time. That Solomon Mahlangu never said that. So Solomon Mahlangu skipped the country when he was 17. He had no exposure to any political literature. He was at the wrong place at the right time. They left with him. First time he saw something closer to political literature was in Mozambique. Then they moved from Mozambique, they went to Lusaka. The following year, such a powerful political statement. Where did he learn that?
Have you noticed how every time South African politics starts calming down for just 5 minutes, somebody grabs a microphone and turns the whole thing into another national drama? Well, that is exactly what happened again with Julius Malema. The EFF leader is once again dominating conversations online after reacting strongly following the latest court judgment linked to impeachment discussions and the never-ending Phala Phala controversy surrounding President Cyril Ramaphosa. And trust me, social media has been having an absolute field day trying to decode what Malema was even saying in some parts of that speech. Some people said he sounded like a man speaking in riddles. Others claimed he was mixing languages, emotions, frustration, and political fire all in one sentence. Meanwhile, EFF supporters were cheering like they were at a cup final, while ANC supporters were sitting there wondering if this man ever sleeps. One thing about Julius Malema, whether you love him or hate him, the man knows how to keep himself in the headlines. South African politics without Malema would honestly feel like pap without salt. Quiet. Bland. Confusingly peaceful. Now for people who have not been following this entire saga, let's quickly unpack what is going on here, because the Phala Phala issue has become one of the biggest political stories in South Africa in recent years. It all started with allegations surrounding foreign currency hidden at President Ramaphosa's Phala Phala farm. The scandal exploded after claims that a large amount of money had been stolen from the farm, and questions were raised about where the money came from, whether it was declared properly, and how the whole situation was handled. Since then, opposition parties, especially the EFF, have been pushing aggressively for accountability. And if there is one person who has treated the Phala Phala issue like a full-time job, it is Julius Malema. The man has spoken about it in rallies, interviews, parliament, press conferences, and probably even while ordering food somewhere. Every opportunity he gets, he brings up Phala Phala. So after the recent judgment linked to impeachment proceedings, Malema wasted absolutely no time responding publicly. And as usual, he did not hold back. Now, anybody who listened to the speech noticed something immediately. Parts of it sounded intense, emotional, repetitive, and almost like a stream of consciousness. Malema moved between political criticism, passionate delivery, and phrases repeated over and over again for emphasis. Some listeners online joked that they needed subtitles, translators, and spiritual guidance just to fully understand everything. But underneath all the dramatic delivery, the message itself was actually quite clear. Malema was essentially arguing that the issue surrounding Ramaphosa is far from over. He insisted that there should be no delays, no political protection, and no soft handling of the matter. According to him, this is not something that should quietly disappear while politicians move on to the next headline. And that line where he says there will be no delay and that they're going to deal with the matter urgently. That became one of the biggest talking points online because it reflects the F's broader strategy. They want to present themselves as the party that refuses to back down against the ANC establishment. Now here's the funny thing about South African politics. Sometimes politicians say things in such dramatic ways that ordinary citizens end up becoming detectives trying to decode speeches like hidden treasure maps. People online were replaying clips saying, "Wait, what did he mean there? Did he switch languages again? Was that a metaphor? Was he angry or was he cooking something politically?" Meanwhile, another group of South Africans was just enjoying the entertainment value of it all. Because let's be honest, South African politics can feel like a Netflix series that refuses to end. Every week there's a new episode, a new scandal, a new speech, a new outrage, and somehow Julius Malema always enters the scene like the main character arriving halfway through the movie. But behind the memes and jokes, there is a serious political battle happening here. The EFF has spent years positioning itself as one of the loudest anti-corruption voices in the country. They have repeatedly accused the ANC leadership of protecting itself while ordinary South Africans struggle with unemployment, load shedding, crime, and economic pressure. And Malema knows exactly how to connect political anger with emotional language. That is part of why he remains such a powerful speaker. Even people who disagree with him often admit that he knows how to command attention. The ANC, on the other hand, has continued defending Ramaphosa, arguing that legal processes must be respected and that political opponents are exploiting the controversy for political gain. Ramaphosa himself has previously denied wrongdoing linked to the Phala Phala matter. So what we are seeing now is not just another random political argument. It is part of a much bigger fight over credibility, leadership, and public trust in South Africa. And this is where things become really interesting. Because South Africans are increasingly frustrated with political promises overall. Many citizens are tired of corruption allegations, tired of economic struggles, and tired of politicians blaming each other while everyday problems continue. So when Malema speaks with this kind of intensity, some people see a fearless opposition leader refusing to stay silent. Others see a politician using dramatic rhetoric to keep himself politically relevant. That divide is exactly why every Malema speech trends online. Now another thing people noticed from the speech was his criticism of propaganda and political language itself. At certain moments, he appeared to suggest that political messaging and manipulation influence how ordinary citizens understand events. And honestly, that part reflects something very real in modern politics worldwide. Whether it is South Africa, America, Europe, or anywhere else, political communication has become a battlefield. Every party tries to shape narratives. Every leader wants control over public perception. The difference is that Malema does it loudly. Very loudly. This is a man who does not believe in subtlety. If Julius Malema walked into a library, somehow it would still sound like a protest march. And you know what makes this even more fascinating? The reaction from young people online. A lot of younger South Africans follow politics today almost the same way older generations followed football rivalries. They clip speeches, create memes, remix videos, debate in comment sections, and defend politicians like supporters defending football clubs. One side says, Malema is exposing corruption. Another side says, he just likes attention. Then another group jumps in saying, all politicians are the same. And somewhere in the middle, confused citizens are just trying to survive load shedding while watching the chaos unfold on TikTok. But regardless of where people stand politically, the reality is this: Malema has mastered political visibility. Very few politicians in South Africa can generate headlines as consistently as he does. Even when people criticize him, they are still talking about him. That is political influence. And it is important to remember that the EFF was built largely around this confrontational style. The party thrives on challenging authority directly, disrupting political comfort zones, and forcing debates into the public spotlight. That strategy has helped the EFF grow from a small breakaway movement into one of the most recognizable political forces in the country. Now, does that mean everybody agrees with Malema? Absolutely not. He remains one of the most controversial figures in South African Politics. Critics accuse him of being divisive, inflammatory, and overly theatrical. Supporters see him as fearless and unapologetic. But whether people support him or oppose him, they listen. And that matters. Because in politics, attention is power. The more people discuss your message, the stronger your influence becomes. And Malema understands this better than most politicians. Another thing worth mentioning is how multilingual political speeches in South Africa often reflect the country itself. South Africa has multiple official languages, diverse communities, and different political cultures. Politicians frequently switch between languages to connect with different audiences emotionally and culturally. So while some viewers online joked about being confused by sections of the speech, for many supporters that style actually strengthens the connection. It feels authentic, emotional, and rooted in local political culture. Now, of course, social media turned the entire speech into meme material almost immediately. South Africans online are undefeated when it comes to humor. Within hours, people were editing clips, adding dramatic music, creating fake subtitles, and joking that Malema unlocked a secret political language pack. One person joked, "By the time Julius finishes a speech, you need a translator, a lawyer, and a therapist." Another said, "This country doesn't need Netflix. Parliament is enough." And honestly, they might have a point. South African politics has become one of the most unpredictable political theatres in the world. Between coalition drama, corruption scandals, impeachment debates, and viral speeches, there is never a quiet moment. But beyond the entertainment and political noise, there is still a deeper national issue at the center of all this: accountability. That is ultimately what the Phala Phala debate has always been about. Questions around transparency, leadership, and whether powerful people are treated differently from ordinary citizens. And regardless of political affiliation, many South Africans believe those questions deserve serious answers. As for Malema, he clearly has no intention of backing down anytime soon. If anything, speeches like this show that he intends to keep applying pressure, keep speaking aggressively, and keep turning political moments into national conversations. Because for better or worse, Julius Malema understands modern politics perfectly. Politics today is no longer just about Parliament. It is about headlines. It is about viral clips. It is about dominating conversations. It is about staying visible every single day. And in that game, Malema remains one of the strongest players in South Africa. So now the big question becomes, will all this political pressure actually change anything? Will the Phala Phala issue continue haunting Ramaphosa politically? Or will South Africans eventually move on to the next political storm? Knowing this country, probably by next week there will already be another shocking speech, another trending clip, and another national argument happening on social media. Because in South Africa, politics never sleeps. And Julius Malema definitely doesn't either.